So the second chapter of Shokugeki no Sanji has been unleashed. So we're actually going to see how the second chapter of the story actually plays out, where it begins with Sanji actually preparing a drink for Nami, who's still navigating through the seas, where we actually see him preparing a fruit drink for her, in which she actually enjoyed it. But we actually see Zoro actually waking up from his nap, meaning that he actually was still arguing with him, but we still actually knew how their rivalry in this spin-off actually shows. But we actually see a ship where a castaway is in there. But we knew what this man actually wants when they rescue him. But he actually introduced himself as Ruby, but he actually wanted someone to help him with a banquet that he's preparing for his daughter's wedding, which she is getting married, which he actually has captured a legendary fish, which it could have actually been the all blue as well. The wedding banquet is in tomorrow, so they actually need to work fast to get the dish prepared, which we actually knew that we're actually going to see this legendary fish, which he actually showed the fish as well, which he actually called the fish the dragon meat super fillet salmon, a legendary fish that is actually a type of salmon who actually has a long body that brings the mind of an imaginary dragon. And during his mating season, they scattered, swimming in schools of hundreds. Then their flesh, considered far the more tender and delicious than any beef tenderloin or steak, and it actually brought good fortune to those who were lucky to eat it. However, preparing it requires skills that Sanji actually have. So we're going to see how he's going to cut it. So we've seen Ruby have gave the fish to Sanji as he prepared the dish for Ruby. So we knew what he has to do in order for him to prepare the dish for his daughter's wedding. So we're going to see what's going to happen when he takes on the fish. So he prepared the kitchen for a challenge. So he actually using a knife, which he is using as a kitchen tool, but we actually see how difficult it is to cut the fish. But he actually realized that the fish actually exploded in water, which that's actually the hard part, because the salmon's stomach is actually the most tender spot to actually be sensitive to a blade of a knife. But in order to cut it, it required a single cut of a knife that is off by a milliliter even, kind of like a water balloon, to actually try to cut it. So we're going to see how Sanji is going to prepare the dish as well. However, Sanji using another knife, which he can actually cut through the flesh of a salmon, and with a firm but gentle pull, he can actually cut the salmon. But he kept messing up to actually figure out what he did wrong. So he could actually try to quit, but Ruby told him to stop because it's impossible to prepare a salmon, but all he ever wanted is to see his daughter happy. However, she was a frail girl, meaning that she is sick. So we knew what we'll have to do, which if she goes to bed again, she'll never say good morning to his father ever again. So apparently, we're going to see what Zoro is going to do after hearing his story. But we see how Cook and Swordsman have two different jobs, but their blades are actually different. So we've seen Sanji try to focus what tools that he needs to cut the fish. And he actually trying to figure out what is the perfect knife that he's missing. However, we seen Zoro actually came into the kitchen and actually gave him his sword, the Wano Ichimonji, and he actually left it there for Sanji to use. So he actually left. Now we knew what Sanji is going to use his sword, which he actually see how the length, the sharpness is actually perfect. So we actually see Sanji cut the fish in the right time, as he did it as well. Meanwhile, in Ruby's island, we see the wedding have actually gone underway, and he actually has prepared a dish for his daughter, which is the dragon boat of dragon salmon sashimi, as we seen how they're actually enjoy the dish, in which we seen his daughter is happy. However, we seen Sanji actually use the dragon salmon sushi that he actually got left, and he feed it for his friends, which they actually enjoy the dish, but they describe how the flavor and the tenderness of the fish actually, how they describe, which they actually act as mermaids when they enjoy the fish, especially Zoro, which we knew how delicious that dish really is. At the end, we actually see how Sanji actually cleaned the kitchen while he look at Zoro, which he's not going to thank him for using his sword, but he is actually wanting to grab some salt to purify his space. So we actually see them actually argue again. Now we knew how Sanji and he using his skills to prepare a banquet for a wedding. Now we've seen how Zoro lending him his sword to actually complete the dish. So we're going to see what's going to happen on the next chapter very soon. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the manga chapter. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page. Until then, this is Anime Guy 300 here saying signing out. Laters, and be safe.